Hello, everyone. I've been so much looking forward for this incredible interview because I got Giedrius, who is the managing director and as well the partner of this incredible initiative, CEO World Record Initiative for most impact driven and ethical leaders on the planet. And the reason why he is one of my favorite people in this world, there are a couple of reasons. One is that, how should I put it? The way I know you, Giedrius, it is that you walk your talk. You would never gonna use slogans to creamy words, fluffy words without understanding the substance of that. And you would never kind of try to, I don't know, to be a person who you are not, just to fit in. And this is why our team and me, we just simply love working with you and your company. So without further ado, this is Giedrius, the managing director of Stansefabrikken, which is a Norwegian and as well as Lithuanian company situated here in Lithuania. But let's move to Giedrius. Gideon, if you could share with us, the things we should know about you and the company, what would that be?
Hi everyone. Yeah, my name is Giedrius. Thanks Laura for invitation. If to tell shortly about the company, Stansefabrikken is Norwegian capital company operating in Lithuania for 20 years. This year was anniversary. And if to tell in short words, they are operating in subcontracting business and the company and shareholders has clear vision to be the chosen partner. It means to be the chosen partner not only for the customers but for all stakeholders, taking from the beginning from the employees, service providers, suppliers, local community, and so on. So it would be shortly about the company.
And what about you? Could you share things about you?
Some small things. Yeah, I'm yeah 43 years old, father of three children, and mainly all my life I'm working in production companies. So it's always linked to the added value creation. So
I see.
probably shortly it would be like that.
I see. I know you are very humble. Anyway, yeah.
Like
So
some Mogitian, yeah.
yeah, absolutely. But this is the way most ethical leaders are. They are humble and integral human beings. So let's move to the question of this world record, which is how is the world better off? Because Stansefabrikken is in it.
uh, it's quite interesting question. Uh, but probably I could come back to one of our talks some time ago that you always should look on the probably from the legacy perspective what is left after you. Yeah. So yeah, probably for us is or for me that or for the company is the main point that you are the part of the whole environment, or how is modern to tell you ecosystem. Yeah, so starting from the creating working places for the employees, uh, how to say, we are creating the specific knowledge of the operating in metal fabrication. So this is the what you we came here. There was some knowledge here from previous times, so we are focused on that. We are learning people, we are teaching people, we are taking the best knowledge. We are going to keep the best knowledge here in this place. So probably it would be would say, such a small things. Maybe for us is small things, for others is much more bigger things. But yeah, I think it's like that.
It's your impact that what matters, right? So let's try to reveal, what does it take to be a leader, and like that other side of leadership, which not many of us, we dare to speak about, especially to kind of to be the voice of those moments where we don't feel aligned, or we have the inner conflict within us. So if you've been in so many leadership positions, Giedrius, and the one today you took, as I recall, it was kind of during pandemics or something like that. And could you elaborate with us, like, when do you have the darkest moments um, in this leader position?
Darkest moments. Probably, if you have the darkest moments in in your position, probably is the most important thing to stay resilient, yeah, and to
Mhm.
also to teach your people also to be resilient, because when it is dark moments, everyone is in simple words you can tell that everyone is running like chicken without a head or something like that, yeah. So
Mhm.
you need to to collect them in one place, to to draw the goal what we need to achieve. And of course, probably another point what can be in the darkest moment, it's always probably you need to keep constant attention on the people with whom you are. So
Mhm.
this is the most important things:
And what do you mean
resilience
by
and to keep
mhm,
attention.
what do you mean by keeping attention to people?
uh, you should not forget uh, human relationships, yeah. Yeah, not everything should be measured just on the goals, on the targets, and on the targets, and especially when it is the, as you telling, dark moments. You you need to foster human relationships with your employees and your teammates. So
Mhm.
I would say this is like that.
Okay, wonderful. And I mean, we know that in a mainstream or traditional management, and I know that I can talk about that with you because you are so highly educated, even though you would never admit that. But that in the traditional management, we have this really kind of top down command and control approach, uh, blueprinted in our brains for 100 plus years. Um, and and what I really want to go into it is to try to understand where, when maybe in your role you feel the conflict within your personality and your role, and the one you even maybe can't share with employees, and what type of inner conflicts you have or you had experienced.
Hmm. Yeah, quite tough question to answer. Yeah,
I
what
know.
kind of inner conflicts? Yeah, probably inner conflicts is when you, let's say an example that you agreed with the team to make the change inside the organization, and everyone agree with that we need to go for it. And after a certain time, it seems that it stops, or they are so frustrated so that you need to to come back, to step aside, and to bring the message again, to talk with them. And this is a never ending story. It means one day sometimes they feel themselves that they achieved something, and then they feel relaxed. But it's always you need to, probably this repetition or
Mm-hmm.
many times to do the same things. Probably this is the mostly inner conflicts is raising for me, yeah, because I'm, as
Mm-hmm.
you're telling, I'm humble, I'm straightforward, so for me it's a little bit different things, yeah, to tell
Mm-hmm.
the story the same, but yeah, you need to learn how to behave with the people, and people not all are the same, yeah. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I
you
see.
living and
So
learning. So
yeah, you live and learn. And what type of inner dialogue? I will just give you an example from myself. So when these type of cases come up, I mean, it can be within my own team or working with clients, or even on this ambitious initiative. I have the inner dialogue, like is is that really what I want? Is that really my why? And do is that me who needs that? Or is it, like, why it's only me who understand that? Why they don't understand that? It can be so many different thoughts going through my head, where I feel that I am like a victim, right? Because it's a victim thinking. It's thinking about I. So, do you have any type of inner dialogue when you've you see that suddenly, the team, they made certain changes, you done it all together, and then you kind of slip from that why? So, what inner dialogue do you have, Giedrius?
I would say I am not thinking as a victim. Uh, it's never like that. Yeah? If you agreed with someone to achieve certain things, so you go for it. But of course, probably as I'm thinking for myself, you can do as a manager different things in how to say, according to the standard hierarchical approaches. You cut, you destroy, and revolutionary methods. But in these days, it's not working like that. So you accept it, and you are going on evolutionary way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for different objects or different people needs different time to make evolution. So I'm, let's say, I'm not so criticized myself if something is not
Mm-hmm.
going in perfect way. So
Okay, okay. See, maybe it's a difference between female and male. I don't know, but it can be that. Okay, so going back to the business practices or rituals, because each of us, depending on who we are as human beings, we have some rituals which we practice as leaders or managers or both, and at the same time, we have some rituals which we practice or introduce with the teams, with clients and suppliers to make this evolutionary steps. And I know that you got a lot of rituals in Stansefabrikken, rituals that others as well could learn and tap into that. Could you share all of these rituals with us, Giedrius, and kind of walk us through, like, why you created these, what did it give you guys, and what were the ups and downs? Just loosen yourself and let us into your world.
yeah, but in simple words, I could tell that mainly my personal rituals is to be honest with yourself, with your teammates, colleagues, with your family. And the main principle is of analyzing what you're doing. You need, or you need to have ability to rethink it, and learning by studying. So in simple words, it sounds very simple, but yes, we have, if going into daily business routines, we have implemented like PDCA cycles, where is the, how to say, it was probably quite interesting stuff for the people to change their mindset, and especially that they are forced to take decisions by themselves. It's not coming
Mm-hmm.
force from outside from the manager, but um, they have ability to accept their decisions, and yeah, this is one. Yeah, and from such kind of the routines, people are getting how to say more educated, more experienced, and they are not stopping with this one what you started to do. So they are doing by themselves, looking different topics, different very fancy word probably would be gray zones
Mm-hmm.
where they do not understand what is going on or what is happening. So they are doing walk the talk or going to Gambas to see, to explore the situations, to come back and yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
one of the small nice things what we already have implemented in the company. So yeah, and we have, and probably for the main thing for the routines is the transparency and the
Mm-hmm.
visibility what you are doing, so that all the team members can see and nothing is guided, everyone sees the performance of each other, and you have periodic meetings, you share the information, you can ask the questions, you always can ask for the support, it's always possibility, and no one is giving you negative answer to that one. So
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. And if we go to PDSA, I'll just elaborate what it is. So, PDSA is a continuous improvement, let's say, methodology or cycle of plan, do, check, act, where the teams are being gathered, or the team is gathering themselves, right? And kind of self organized in a way to improve certain areas of the business. And if we go deeper into PDSA, let's say those teams, like what were the benefits you saw as a leader, as a human, in the entire, how to say, yeah, in while introducing this type of way of working, because it is a way of working in a way.
yes,
So what type of, yeah, benefits you saw?
probably the biggest benefit is that you get people engagement in the decision taking, and they
Mm-hmm.
have autonomy to do that. So it means that you are increasing self awareness, or how to say ownership of the people, so that they really start to trust in themselves, and that they do not need to go for someone to ask if they can do that or that. They have certain teams where the team agrees and they can take decision and act, and no one is blaming or, let's say, um, neglecting their taking decision. So probably this is the best what could be, yeah, in
Mm-hmm.
this point.
Okay. And how was it, the way I understand that? Because normally the benefits, they come, you know, like further in
After
the
certain
process.
time, not in
Yeah.
yeah.
So let's talk about this, this fragile time where, I know that you made a decision that you want a different type of leadership, you want different type ways of working. And when you introduced that idea, a concept, it was still fluffy, it was a slogan, right? And walk us through that, because it really takes bravery for anyone to come up with a conceptual idea and kind of gradually ground that into like real ritual. So how was it to introduce how people took that in? What was your role? um
Yeah, uh, yeah. When I started, it was in the beginning of 20s, and the COVID came, and it was really funny. Everything we need to do it was on a remote way, so it really very difficult to convince people when you do not have direct eye contact, direct explanations. You need to do it on remotely way. It was really, really very difficult. But
Mm-hmm.
as I told you many times that you explain to the people, it seems that everyone is convinced, wants to start, and then you have a lot of questions why we do, why should I do, and why they cannot do someone else. It was probably backwards and forwards 4 times for all the team to explain why we do. You start the round of the sessions, then you again starting to explain. But the main principle was that we agreed that we are moving from autocracy to flatten organization. So this was the main point that if we want to be more fast decision taking, engagement of the people, involvement of the people, so we should change the structure and not go by steps from top down and from bottom to top with the probably it's not correct information when they bringing you through the a lot of part of the chain, yeah. So this was the quite difficult, but yeah, after certain amount of rounds backwards and forwards, so we agreed on that. And yeah, first session was with the uh, with customers and
Mm-hmm.
with different member of the teams. So that was very funny that people from production was never talked to customers. What are their needs? What are the pinpoints and problems? People from the warehouse. So it was really very funny. Even the customers were shocked when we were sitting 10 people in the teams meeting, asking what is painful for you, what we can do better, and so on. And yeah,
Yeah,
it was
yeah, I
it was
remember.
really funny. Yeah. So uh, and after that, everyone was thinking that, oh, thanks God, all the sessions were finished with the customers, and now we are free from from these routines. But yeah, we found that we have a lot of things to do in internal processes, and yeah, all these routines is still alive. And when we ended up second session with the internal processes, we found sub processes. So we are going more deeply into organization, finding places where to improve and to make organization running much more better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, in a way, in that beginning, as I understand, every leader's job is um, yeah, it's to surrender to the process and see it as a living kind of a living thing, and then be patient and really kind of hear and listen. It's nothing new. I know it's absolutely nothing new, but at the same time, I know what it takes when you are, under pressure to grow and to deliver profit, and at the same time flattening the organization. It's like, it's you got like two different directions, and then someone, and that someone is normally a leader, has to hold that in one or another way. So I know what it takes to have enormous amount of mental space to, not to blame, but like to truly listen and accept any type of limited beliefs people are having and questions they are having, without blaming, because at any moment they will feel that I, as a leader, I had different expectations that you were gonna, guys, get it faster, quicker, and etc. They'll feel that, and then it's just not integral. Anyway, it was just my reflection, but keep
Yeah, yeah,
on.
but maybe most important probably is to show it that it is not artificially that you are going to flatten
Hmm.
organization. Because if you start to do it artificially, flattening, showing the probably chasing the some modern trends, I don't know if it works somewhere. Yeah, so it's naturally should come from your personal behavior. Because
Hmm.
if you tell to the people that this is for you but not for me, it's not gonna work. Yeah, so
No,
you need
no.
to be an example by yourself. And if you remember, I was participating quite in a lot meetings together with the people to show them that they are allowed to take decisions, they are allowed to raise the questions, and they are allowed to ask for any information what is needed for the correct decision taking. Yeah? So
Yeah, you did, and you really walked the talk, and you continue to do that, and that's just so beautiful. Um, and Gedro, if we could, for example, have you ever thought? It's very often I have this in my mind that if I would suddenly become a hired CEO or hired managing director for any size of business, the first thing what I would want to do it is to delete the org charts for myself. That's the first for myself. And then, so I would not get the bias in my own head as a leader to study the interactions, but then later on to delete the org charts as well for any other leaders within my team. And the reason why I like that idea so much, I never tried that. I mean, to be honest, I try it very often as a consultant. I never ask for the org chart because it just, yeah, it just narrows my mindset. But but I was like in my mind, in my imagination, I have this uh, yeah, vision that suddenly when you delete those silos, you kind of open up people for curiosity and as well fear, because suddenly, you know, something is unknown at the same time, and you kind of widen their responsibility and they begin to interact maybe maybe, you know, in another way. So I wanted to ask you, how do you see the top down org charts? What is the, like, still the benefit, and why companies should keep it, and maybe what's the negative side of that? It's just to have a discussion. I know there is no right or wrong every time, you know, we still need
yeah, yeah.
context behind.
What
Yeah.
what you are telling, Laura, you will not have one recipe which is working, and we had quite a lot of discussions in university on this topic and what we, let's say, what you can see from experience. Probably uh, most best experiences what is the flattening organization if you have not big organization and which are focusing on services or IT services, even it is traditional production company then and quite a heavy company, yeah, where you have
Mm-hmm.
300 people, we where you have different shifts, night shifts, moving shifts, and so on, so there might be mm, s- much more tougher to implement the flat organization. This is one. I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
from the
Mm-hmm.
perspective of the people because what you told by yourself, yeah, that naturally people are afraid because when they are used to work in one structure, when it is clear, told what to do, what to achieve, what to implement, and their mentality is already blocked like that. Yeah, that just tell me what to do, I will do. And if you start to
Mm-hmm.
change, as in our, uh, let's say, in our case, we still are not deep down in the production operations purely. Yeah? It is more administration, shift supervisors, and so on. But we still are not down, and there is quite a lot of way to go forward. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
do believe like that. But yeah, you need to change the mindset of the people, and this is it's very very complicated. Yeah, you see that they are not willing to change very easy. New things for them is, as you know, every change, new things. It's everyone is trying to, how to say, they they do believe that it will be touched personally. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
it is quite a tough thing. But in general, yeah, I do believe. And why is, let's say, why do I believe that this is more beneficial? Because I was practicing that you need to, how to say, my task as a leader's task is not to force, but to let people to show or to open their best features what they have. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm always working in that way that they could. open or flower like a flower, yeah, with the best features what they have. And this is when you do more on flattened way, not on just like direct, straightforward or silos functions. Because when you have in silos or in organizational structure, naturally someone is, how to say, hiding someone or trying not to let open and so on. So you have big pool, so you can
Mm-hmm.
see by yourself, you discuss with the people and your coach another leaders what we have within the company, that it's not a problem that people grow up, and it is probably uh, the best case or the best way when people grow up in your organization and they do not have space where to grow, so then you can let them
Mm-hmm.
to grow, to go, and they are spreading all this your mentality and your culture within other companies. After a certain time they can come back if you have potential to them, and they will always come back if they will see that it is, let's say, potential and possibility to grow. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
probably I would say this is the, I think it's the future. Yeah, of course, for someone is not probably specific areas. Also, you cannot you cannot do like that. But yeah, it's a mixture, and you do not have one recipe. But at
Yeah,
least
that's
I'm
for
trying
sure.
to
Mm-hmm.
implement this one where I'm
Mm-hmm.
working. Yeah, so
Amazing. Yeah. So we kind of, yeah, have to look at the linear and non-linear ways to make that progress. And this is why this world record attempt is all about um, um, experimenting. I would say that would be a right word. Experimenting in different industries. This merge of linear and non-linear approaches, which which can be taught across the globe. Yeah, and probably the last question, Giedrius. I like as a leader who stepped into a new company. Um, what what you have you been afraid to be rejected by people, by shareholders? Um,
probably naturally you have such kind of sense that when you come, they will see a different, let's say, how to say, picture, or or expectations might differ what they were thinking of and what is in reality. But personally, I'm not afraiding.
mhm,
So before you entering into relations, you anyway you have not one conversation, yeah. So it's a lot of things, tests, conversations, discussions, and if you see that you can, your expectations is meeting together so that you can achieve something, then you go into partnership. But if you see that at once, if you see any doubts that it might mislead to certain goal, you are not going to this position, yeah. But
mhm,
there is nothing to afraid, and probably the main point, as I'm telling, you should be open. If you are open, you are talking with your, let's say, what is your ideas, and you discuss, and this is the probably most important thing, that you are frank, and you're talking openly. So if if to summarize, do I afraid before? Yes, you have
mm,
small certain amount of fear, but in general, no. If you are coming and starting do the things you are going to do, or people know what you are going to do, so, and of
mm,
course, if you have support from the owner, shareholders, or bigger CEO, yeah, then it's green light for everything what you are intending to do.
mm. Amazing. I know I've said the last question, but that what always happens with my mind. I got one
One
more.
more.
uh, okay, let's imagine everything is possible, right? Because I still believe that it is. And where would you want to see the company, let's say, in 2 to 3 years' time? I mean, and we are just, letting ourselves imagine. How would you see? How would you want to see it? Let's say different than it is today, and why would that matter for you?
Yeah, probably. To dream on, it's not forbidden. Yeah, but
No.
yeah, if you would not have any limitations on the financial resources, on the uh, people resources, and so on, yeah, probably we could be in the top 50 Lithuanian companies. We have potential to grow. We are working with very well brand known companies, and we are making subcontracting for them. It means that uh, worldwide companies know that we are performing very well, we are doing good job, and we are reliable partners. So it means that we are not worse than they, but we have
Mm.
just limitation of the maybe some resources, so you cannot grow up as you would dream on. Yeah. So yeah, this would be one. And of course it would be, how to say, fantastic if you could come to the topic that you do not have any organizational structure and everything is splitting or working in teams. Yeah, you can have a
Mhm.
lot of examples like holocracy and so on, but let's not talk about certain names. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would say that independent teams within the organization would bring the company to the utmost result what they can achieve. Oh, it
Mm.
would be very fantastic.
Wonderful. Maybe with this world record and other companies, we can contribute. All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us here today. Yeah, there's so many practices you do, guys, and I'm sure that once it will be as well written in the book and documented in the world record documentary movie, it's going to be more obvious for everyone else what it is all about Stansefabrikken stands for. So thank you, Giedrius, so much.
Thank you. You're welcome.